anywhere. I mean, you see good teams. Look at the Warriors. I mean, they look what they've done with D'Angelo Russell. Look what they've done with all these picks that they've had in the past. They get talent, and they do. Bob Myers does a hell of a job, and
Dude, they put
that's
off
what
a
you kind of
heist in
want to
that
be like.
D'Angelo Russell trade.
Say that again.
They put off a heist in that D'Angelo Russell trade. I know.
D'Angelo,
I know people
you want
love
to talk about that real quick before we get off?
Yeah, I do want to talk about that because I know NBA Twitter has like this infatuation with D'Angelo Russell. They call him deloading. He's been loading since 2015. It's not looking very much better.
Hey, here's my thing with D'Angelo Russell.
With him, but
yeah,
he's always. It just felt like even when he was lighting it up on the court, he was somehow being a negative on the other end, and it was just. I don't know. I get the excitement because Booker, D'Lo, and Cat want to team up, so I get why you would run for that. But you gave up next year's first round pick to team up, and then in this draft class, Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, they're too ball dominant. They're going to take the ball away from D'Angelo Russell, and James Wiseman, the other third guy in that list, he's a big man. So you have the number 1 overall pick, and you don't have anybody to pick with it.
That's my thing. I agree with you on that. I didn't understand the D'Lo trade at all. I got it from obviously the perspective of Towns wants to play with Cat, or I mean Towns wants to play with D'Lo, and they got to, again, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
You're a GM, you got to satisfy your superstar. So you want to keep your superstar, you want to keep Karl Anthony Towns. You got to do something that's going to keep him happy, and you want to get him a guy that he wants, and he likes D'Angelo Russell. But D'Angelo Russell, is he an all-star? Yes, by history he is. But if you look at it, would you consider? I do not think he is an all-star player. He made the all-star team off of a replacement on one of the worst East Coast all-star teams in years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a terrible terrible Eastern Conference. So hot take here, I don't think D'Angelo Russell is even a star. I think he's a very good player, but I also think he's super one-dimensional. I think he's a good shooter. I think he's a good scorer. Yeah. And I think the Warriors realized that. A lot of people were saying, the Warriors are going to package the D'Lo and the pick for Giannis. Like, come on now, man. Bob Myers, I think, realized his thing. And I'm not saying that it's no diss the Warriors. This is just more of, I think people overrated D'Lo in general. People thought that they could get a superstar for a guy that's not even a all-star. Why, if you're Milwaukee, do you want a number 2 pick in a horrible draft that, and I'm not saying that's horrible as in there's nobody, but it's a draft where if you paid me to get a top 5 pick, I would not want to do that as a GM because that is scary. You're most likely going to mess up.
Hey, I mentioned it earlier. There's more value in that late lottery to late first round. There's more value there than there's in the top 5.
Exactly. And I think that's a problem. And even the Wolves, that's funny because according to Kevin O'Connor, they want to trade that number 1 pick for a quote, win now player. So in your opinion,
Gordon Hayward.
Who do you I mean, Gordon Hayward is winning now. That is a fact. But I think you would have to leave him at gunpoint, and they would probably still say no to that.
What team is going to trade their win now player for? I don't know.
I know who is a win now player that you see could going to the Timberwolves for the number 1 pick.
Nobody.
And here's a trade I'll throw at you. This is not a win now player, but this is a blockbuster.
All right, let me hear.
If you are Monty McNair, you are the GM of the Kings. Do you take that number 1 pick and trade Buddy Hield and a future first round pick protected?
No, I'd rather trade Buddy Hield in the 12th pick and move up to 8 or something. I wouldn't want a top 5 pick. I wouldn't.
I agree. I think I'm with you,
especially because you guys have Fox, so it'd be again, and you guys have Fox and Bagley, so if you want to punt on Bagley, I mean,
or Bagley. Would you trade Bagley for the? I'd
rather have Bagley.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's these aren't even win now players, right?
Yeah.
And these are young. If you're Minnesota, do you even want Marvin Bagley? I understand if that's a huge question. I get it. Trust me, I get why the questions of Marvin even come up because of his health, not because of his talent at all. Just
when he plays, he's good.
Exactly, but spot on. But at the same time, it's like if he's not healthy, and you're Minnesota, who do you trade for? Because that's probably the best player you can get. That's quote win, and he's not even win now. He's a young player.
You're
There's
gonna
no
have to
win now.
develop.
These win now players, you miss your chance on, like the Jimmy Butler. Oh, you had him. You had a win now player. But now you're lose now because you traded your win now player to a team that, again, Philly, that a team that didn't want him either. I mean, they wanted him, but they just
Yeah.
didn't really, they weren't willing as much. And I don't see that player out there. I don't know. I mean, the only person, like I said, I could think of was Jimmy Butler, and he's not, he ain't leaving Miami. Let's keep that crystal clear. He is not leaving Miami. I don't know who else could go there. It's a
I'm trying to think right now. Like,
Devin Booker. I don't see your Phoenix. You just went 9-0 at the end of the bubble, right? Correct. 9-0. I don't know if I'm
yeah,
wrong. It might be
I think it
8-0.
was 9-0.
9-0 at the end of the bubble with DeAndre Ayton coming back next year, Devin Booker coming back, Kelly Oubre coming back. Man,
Don't blow it up. Don't blow it up.
Don't blow that up. You got a young team.
Okay.
You should build off that with a very talented coach in Monty Williams. And I think if you kind of build off that, they have a future. But it's why, again, in what world would they trade Devin Booker for the number one? It doesn't make sense. And that's why I'm like, no, I don't see any chance in hell that happens.
Nah.
I don't see them getting Booker. And it's like, okay, you're not getting Booker. You're not getting a guy like Bagley. Your Celtics, I mean, I don't know who the Celtics, they're not going to give up.
I don't even want the first pick.
They're not giving up Jaylen Brown for the number one pick. That's the best player you can get.
As a Celtics,
Oh, then definitely not getting Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Don't even give me. I don't want to get you started on that.
Let's say you're Portland, and then they're like, "We'll give you CJ McCollum for the first," because that's the caliber of player you're gonna get. Like that,
but that's CJ he's a talented player. He's a good shooting guard, but he's and you know who actually? It's funny. I just thought of a guy, but that's not going to get you a championship. Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal is one of my favorite, most underrated players in this league.
I
would kill to have him next to Fox.
So bad.
No. We need to get him next to Fox. We need to get you guys got enough talent. We need the most talent we can get.
Yeah, you got a point.